Hello everybody, my name is Gabriela and today Valeria Cáceres, Itzel Quirino, Cindy Lopez and me are going to talk about the epithelial tissue. I hope you like it and that it's helpful. A tissue is a group of similar cells that works together in order to carry on a specific function. We have four types of tissues: the connective tissue, the muscle tissue, the nervous tissue, and the epithelial tissue. That is the one that we're going to talk about today. To get more deeply on the topic, I am going to explain what does the epithelial tissue consist of. It is mainly a bunch of cells that are strongly tied together and they form a continuous layer. And because the cells are very close to each other, they are held tight by many cell junctions. So this means that there is only a little space between the adjacent plasma membranes. The epithelial tissue has many functions in our body. When it's working by itself, it gives us protection, allows us to have a good filtration system, secretion, absorption, and excretion. When it's working along with the nervous tissue, they both create special organs that help us to smell, hearing, vision, and touch.
When talking about epithelial cell surfaces, we can name three of them, which are the apical, lateral, and basal surfaces. The apical surface is the most superficial layer and they may contain cilia or microvilli. But, contrary to the apical surface, the basal one is found at the deepest layer of the epithelium. And, finally, the lateral surface faces the adjacent cell on either side. What is the basement membrane for? Epithelial cells come with a base membrane whose main function is support and attach the cell to the underlying connective tissue. Why is the epithelial tissue avascular? An avascular tissue stands for the lack of blood structures. The epithelial tissue is almost completely avascular because no blood vessels cross the basement membrane to enter the tissue. Now, an interesting fact about the epithelial tissue is that it has a high rate of cell division because it is regularly subjected to injury, since it forms boundaries between body organs or external environment.
Epithelium types. We have the covering and lining and the glandular. The first one forms the outer covering of the skin and some internal organs, and the glandular is in charge of the secreting portions of glands. The covering and lining epithelium has two special characteristics. The first one is the shape of the cells. These ones can be squamous, cuboidal, or columnar. And the second one is the number of the layers of the cells. These ones can be simple, stratified, or pseudostratified. The squamous epithelium is characterized by flat cells and is found in the lining of the lungs and blood vessels. And the cuboidal epitheliums contain cube-shaped cells and like the kidney tubes. The columnar epithelium has a rectangular shape with a nuclei close to the bottom of each cell. And then we have the glandular epithelium. That is all the product that an epithelium secretes. We have the endocrine glands that secrete hormones into the interstitial fluid that later are gonna diffuse into the blood system. This hormone helps to regulate the metabolic but also the physiological activities to maintain homeostasis. And then we have the exocrine glands that secrete products into ducts that go into surface of the covering and lining epithelium. These secretions can be the oil, the sweat, and some digestive enzymes. And finally, the stratified epithelium consists of two or more layers of cells that protect underlying tissues in location when there is considered the wear and tear. Some examples of this is the anal canal, the esophagus, and the mouth.
As we saw before, stratified epithelium lines some organs, including vagina. So now we want to talk about a test which is so related to it, since it is the Papa-Nicolau test, which involves the examination and collection of epithelial cells from the vagina and cervix. This procedure is recommended to do at least once a year since it is capable to detect early stages of cancer, so they can be treated as soon as possible. Simple epithelium is characterized by a single layer of cubic cells. Capillaries are composed by a simple squamous epithelium, and the permeability of this single layer of cells allows exchanges between the blood and the tissue cells. Well, as the other ones, simple epithelium has its own main functions, which are diffusion, osmosis, filtration, secretion, and absorption. Secretion is the production and release of substances, while absorption is intake of substances. Our next one is pseudostratified epithelium, which consists of a single layer of cells but appears to be layered, which is just appearance since each cell touches the basement membrane. And the most widely distributed pseudostratified epithelium is the ciliated type found in the trachea and the primary bronchi, the auditory canal, part of the tympanic cavity, nasal cavity, and the lacrimal sac. Now we have everything we saw before represented in an image. We have a human body pointing some different organs. And for example, we have pseudostratified epithelium pointing the trachea. We have stratified squamous epithelium pointing the esophagus, and we have simple columnar epithelium pointing the intestine.